Hey guys, I'm Casey, and this is Click with Casey. And in the exit interview series, I am sitting down with people to find out why they left their jobs. Was it by choice? Were they forced out? Was it a mix of both? I want to know, what did they learn, if anything? And what would they do differently, if anything, if they could go back and try it all over again? So grab a coffee and settle in, because this next story just might change the way you see your own. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here today. We have a very special guest. I can't wait to talk to him. This is Brian Slawin, and he has all sorts of fun stories to tell us about today. We will be very entertained, I'm sure. So, Mr. Brian Slawin, thank you for being here.
Very high bar. It's really great to be here with you.
So, you have so many stories. When I was reading just your application about the one thing that your one boss said to you about what? Like you were annoying and get out of his office or something like that. So like from that story to where you are now, you just have so many things to say. So I would love for you to start out with what you do and how you got here.
Sure. So I've been super fortunate in my entrepreneurial career, and really almost since graduating college, I've been doing something entrepreneurial. And that's what I get to do today, working for the Ben Franklin Technology Partners. We work to and support small businesses, whether they're an idea on a napkin or a business that's already going and needs to be growing. Mm-hmm. We provide not only capital, where I think we're best known for providing capital for those companies to hire and grow and do the things they need to do, but what a lot of people don't really realize is we provide all of the services that an entrepreneurial company needs, from HR to legal to financial to research to just technical support or business support for free. Okay. Like there's no cost to any of it. Okay. So once you're in the portfolio, or we're working with you to get in the portfolio, we provide all of those services to hopefully make a positive impact and make you a better company so that you can hire folks and we can grow the economy of the Commonwealth.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously follow you and see the work you do, and it's nice to see so many positive things coming from what you do, and you really, I think, champion so many people around the area, which is so important.
Well, thanks. We really, at Ben Franklin Technology Partners, we really enjoy and get great value out of working with people who are always looking at the future. Right? Mm-hmm. To be an entrepreneur, you must be looking at the horizon.
Sure.
Whether it's a very close in horizon or miles and years away.
Right.
We get to work with those people who have a vision for where they want to go. And then we get to facilitate and support them getting there. Yeah. I literally could not think of a greater thing to do than the work that we do at Ben Franklin.
I love that for you. Okay, so we're talking about the future, but now I'm going to make you go in the past.
Go backwards.
We're going to go in the past. So I want to know about your very first job.
Well, my very first job was working for myself.
Oh.
And it's how I became an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And I actually do a presentation called My Dad Stole My Startup Money. And what that is the story of myself and my younger brother, as kids do, had a lemonade stand on our front yard.
Sure.
And so, we're selling lemonade. We're doing very innovative marketing things. Like he and a buddy of his are riding around on their bicycle with little samples, and they'll go to someone's house and they'll give them like a little Dixie cup, right?
Yeah.
We're like 10 and 8 or something at that point. And so, we're doing this. Our dad comes home, and our father, also an entrepreneur, was a CPA, right? He did the financials for lots of big businesses. And when he drives home, he walks over to our little spot on the front yard and he said, "Hey, boys, why don't you clean up here and come on in and we'll count how much money you've made." And we knew that was a big deal because our father was a CPA, right? So for him to say, "See how much money you made," clearly we're about to be the Rockefellers or something like that next, right?
Right.
So we go in, after cleaning up the front yard, we go in, we put all of our dollar bills and our quarters and everything on the table. We stack them up nice and neatly. And our father comes in and goes, "Oh, this is awesome." He says, "How much money did you pay for the lemonade?" And I was like, "What do you mean? It was in the pantry. We just took it out of the pantry, put some water, and off we went."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, okay." And he peels $1 off and he sticks it in his pocket. And then he says, "How much money did you pay your brother's friend who bicycled around with him all day to get people to come?" I'm like, "Pay? He's the kid down the street." He goes,
Yeah.
"Okay, go give this guy 50 cents. And so he kept doing that and doing that. My mother from the other room heard, "Yeah." And when they left, they created a heck of a mess that I had to spend time cleaning up. He goes, "How much did you pay your mom?"
Thanks a lot, Mom.
Under the bus.
Uh-huh.
So he said, "Well, how much did you pay your mom?" I go, "It's our mom. She cleans up the kitchen all the time." So we pulled another $1 and gave it to our mom. My brother, who's way smarter than me and way faster than me, immediately leaves the room and says, "This isn't fair. This isn't right." I hung in there, right? And so we on and on and on and on. Finally, after there was more money in my father's pocket than there was in our little box of money, I yelled at my father, "Why are you stealing all of our money?" Of course, he wasn't.
Right.
He was teaching us a lesson about being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And cost of goods sold and talent cost and those sorts of things. And I've used those lessons in every startup that I've obviously, sophisticated, more mature, but I've used that core lesson of being an entrepreneur in every entrepreneurial company I've been involved in. As I mentioned, I provide a presentation on that, and in that show the pathway of what an entrepreneur actually is and does, and the lessons that I've learned along the way.
Yeah.
So
that
was my first
You
job.
started as an entrepreneur and you continued. When did you work for other people?
So right after college, I was a flight instructor. I was teaching people how to fly.
Oh.
So I was that for about 9 years. And that was fun because I worked for a really great boss. He was patient, insightful. He recognized where I was in my career, and he fed me just the right amount of information and just the right amount of encouragement and just the right amount of, "Did you really consider this before you did it?" Right? He was just really a teacher at heart, and he happened to be my boss. And that was a real great time in my life. I loved flying, still love when I do it, and set me on a pathway to find technology as a way of taking. So, as part of a flight instructor's responsibility, you're responsible for documenting that the student has received the necessary training. Well, sometimes students skip class. I know that's a surprise. So I was still responsible for
Okay, continue.
So I was still responsible for that, but had to literally double my workload because you skipped a class. I've now got to figure out a way to make it up. That was at about the same time when I started meeting up with a number of tech folks at the college I was attending. And we started talking about how, here's this problem I have. How can I make it easier? And they said, "Oh, we'll just put it all on the campus computer network." Like, okay, what does that even mean? So they showed me how to develop code. They showed me how to put my curriculum online, quote unquote, online. They showed me how to make tests. And so if a student would now miss a class, I would point them at the computer center, go take lesson 33, learn it, take the 10-question test. If you pass, I'll give you credit for having taken that class. So that really opened my eyes to, holy cow, like this technology thing, there's something here. And then I went on and did some website development company that I started and realized I was a way better seller, project manager than I was a coder. So hired a couple of people and grew that until we finally got tired of that and sold that, and on we went.
So as this like serial entrepreneur, then
Yeah.
you have, obviously, you just said like you've hired people to
Yeah.
do various pieces of the workload.
Yeah.
So what kind of boss are you?
Well, it's a really interesting question. I've been thinking about how I am as a boss, a manager, an encourager, and I have two kind of inspirations in my life to encourage me to be better than I probably would naturally be on my own. So this boss, the flight instructor boss, right? He was really great, and I take lessons from that. And then I'm currently working for someone who is, I don't think of him as a boss, even though he is. I think of him more as a guide or a teacher or an encourager. I think the phrase servant leader is a little overdone, but he really is. His whole role is to help me be better so that I can help our companies be better.
Right.
So I wish I could say I was that. I have this phrase in my head when I'm running up against something. How would John handle this, right? I'll tell you, one of the tech startups that I started, along with a partner, we had a staff of a couple of dozen folks. And every day in tech companies, at least the way we did it, you have what's called a stand-up, right? Everyone gets 3 minutes,
Yep.
the whole tech team. What happened yesterday? What's going on today? What do I need help with?
Yep.
And after one of these one day, the chief technology officer of the company says, "Hey, come into my office. I want to follow up on something." I'm like, "Okay." Walk into his office, closes the door, and he goes, "You suck the air out of every conversation you're in. Do you realize that?"
Wow.
Probably the most important conversation I had, probably literally in my professional career.
Wow. Yeah.
So we talked through that, and what does that mean, and how does that make people react? And
Wait a minute. Hold on. No. We're not skipping through this. We are peeling this back. Okay.
all right.
So this person says this to you, and this is a person that you like and trust.
yes,
Yes.
he's our CTO. He's one
Yes.
of our staff.
Okay. So he says this to you. What is your immediate feeling and reaction?
So
Not the first thing you said.
yeah,
What's your first feeling?
right. So everyone always has a first reaction,
Yeah.
and if you're smart, you wait for that to go by and actually say something.
Absolutely. Yes.
So my immediate reaction was, because it's true, I used to suck the air out of every room I was in.
But did you know this at the time, or was this new information?
Not sure that I knew it, but more importantly, I didn't care.
Oh, okay.
Right? So there's
going.
an awareness of yourself, which I probably didn't have a whole lot of because I was a hard-driven tech entrepreneur.
Sure.
But what in that moment, so my immediate reaction, my knee-jerk reaction was, "How dare you, blah, blah, blah." I didn't say that.
Sure.
I paused for
Good job.
10 seconds.
Uh-huh.
Because I trusted this guy. I knew that he wouldn't say this unless there was something really there. So my first reaction was anger. My second reaction, or the thing that I actually said, was, "Tell me more what that means." Because I didn't quite understand it, because I
you.
wasn't particularly self-aware at that point.
Yeah.
At that point, because I was driving a company and we were growing and hiring and doing all of that.
But the fact that so I'm glad that anger, and then you let that go before you spoke. Awesome.
Yeah.
But the fact that the first thing you said was a curious statement versus, "You're full of shit." No, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm awesome in a room. So like that is
Well, I am awesome in a room, but
I know. So to me that's
maybe
speaks-
too awesome at times.
got to rein it in.
Yeah.
So, but I just think that that's something that a lot of people struggle to do. So I wanted to highlight that you did that, because the immediate after the anger, that usually the next thing is some sort of defensiveness.
Yes.
So, but you didn't go that route. You went the curious route. So that's awesome.
And that only occurred because I trusted this person. Had it been someone I didn't trust, didn't like, didn't respect, I might have just dismissed it. It's like, deal with it.
Right.
Or been defensive. Well, it's all my money, and it's all my future, and it's my house, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Or because I trusted and valued his opinion, I asked him, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And so he shared what that meant. Like, here's an example. And he gave me a very specific example of the meeting that just happened 5 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. And that started a whole inquiry, some self-reflective, some inquiry from friends. One of the really great things we had, this is in St. Louis as I'm growing this business, which is where I used to live before I came to Erie.
Okay.
I had a group of other CEOs that we would meet pretty regularly for Friday breakfast.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so we would talk about challenges, cool things. And so I said, hey, here's what happened last week. What do you think? And so what I found out was that, yes, they agree with that statement. And here's how they've sort of overcome, or the things that they've done in their professional development to not be the guy that sucks all the air out of the room.
Yeah.
So I think today, and this has been 20 years, I think today I'm much more of a listener than I am a do it my way. Mm-hmm. I'm sure I'm not perfect. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there will people that will disagree, but I think I'm a little better listener, and I'm also a better questioner. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, you've just said ABC is going sideways in your business. Talk to me about what 3 options you think you have. Tell me why you've selected those 3, which is the one that's the most likely to breed success. So I'm a better questioner and a better listener, rather than, hey, I've got a problem, solve it for me. Mm-hmm. The old guy would have gone, well, do these 3 things.
Yes.
Today, I'm like, well, let's walk our way through that. Because what I think we try to do at Ben Franklin Technology Partners, I know we do this, is it is definitely about the investment we've made and trying to get the company to be successful in the way that they're doing it. What we also do is we try to teach along the way so that they can address these issues either proactively or respond more effectively in the moment, so that they've gone to the gym, if you will, and they've learned how to deal with that.
Well, and I would imagine you also, the goal is for them to be self-sustaining, doing all these things. And if it's just being done for them along the way, then they're missing that piece of like you empowering them with the skills versus just the service.
Well, and I certainly would never compare any of our founders to children, but as I was growing up, or as I was raising our children, that's the goal, is for them to be able to, because one day they're going to go to college, and then one day they're going to go to the big bright city, and one day they're going to, you need to give them the ways of thinking about the situations they're in and making choices and making positive actions so that they can do this on their own without having to call mom or dad and say, oh, I'm in a situation, what do I do?
Absolutely.
Now, you obviously always want to be there. We're always there for our startups, our companies. But, you want to give them tools and skills and ways of thinking about stuff, which is exactly what my boss today does. He listens, asks really great questions, and helps me figure things out. So I try to emulate that as we go forward.
Yeah. So I really want you to tell the story about the time your boss told you. What was that story? When they told you to get out of his office, or you were
Well, was that? It was that one. It was
that was the guy. Okay,
it was the sucking the air out of the room.
Got it.
I don't think he kicked me out of his office. I think
I added that, I'm sure, to dramatize the situation, but he's the one that...
I've never been kicked out of anyone's office. I know that where that line is, I guess. So that's what happened.
So let me ask you this then, from a leadership lens. So you've been lucky to have some really excellent role models to kind of, like, what would they do? How would they process this?
Yeah.
One of whom you still have access to all the time. So I'm sure that when something comes up and you're feeling that sort of like, you can call and be like, what would you do if you needed to?
Yes, he is 100% available to me.
Yes. Okay.
What's really great in the 9.5 years that I've worked for him is that I do that less. Like, if it's he's helped me figure out how to manage the problems or the challenges or the opportunities, whatever, and then share with him, here's what I'm doing. I'd like your feedback on that. So rather than coming to him with a problem,
Yes.
I come to him with, here's what I'm doing and why,
Yes.
but I want your fine tuning on that.
Yes.
So that's why he's an effective boss, is that he's really helped me grow in that way.
Right.
And, as you go, as you grow, as you learn, as you work with more people, you just learn stuff, right? If you take a moment to listen, you learn stuff.
Yes.
And that's,
The goal.
I'm
is
getting better.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like click pragmatics. It's how do you converse? How do you listen? How do you positively exchange information? How do you get out of the inevitable, well, I don't like you anymore because you won't buy my stuff, right? We were in a meeting quite literally this past week where we had a pre-meeting to prepare for it. It was a pretty big deal. And my boss said to me, what's your goal for this meeting? And I had this list of them. He goes, no. Your only goal is to create a partner. That's it. Do whatever you need to do to create a partnership.
Yes.
Because it doesn't start and stop here.
Yes.
We want to grow together.
Yes.
And boy, my whole list of what I wanted to go went out the window. Like, listen, I'm just here to make a partnership work.
I love that.
And there's future opportunities that we can farm together.
Yes. I love that so much too, because as you've been talking and the things that you're saying and tying it into click pragmatics, people think that they can talk, right? Because we can. We all talk, we all converse, we all whatever.
Right.
Some people think they can handle certain situations because they've learned the checkbox of first do this, then do this, right? But it's all about the emotional intelligence being woven into everything you're saying and doing. And that's what I hear your boss does. It's not about the checklist of what you have to do. It's the connection. It's the partnership. It's the growth. You have to build trust with this person for them to be willing to follow you and share their ideas and all those types of things. So that to me is what I see is missing the most, is that emotional intelligence piece. So going back to the well, not your first example with your dad, the example with your CTO, saying to you suck the air out of the room, having the emotional intelligence to like not react and not say the thing out loud. that is what rescued you from that being the end of a relationship.
Yes.
And in what it did in turn was strengthen your relationship with that person.
Yes.
Because now they also knew they can be honest with you.
Right.
And you're not going to bite their head off.
Right.
But then it strengthened you as a leader because then you were reaching out
Yeah.
and getting more information from other people.
So a couple of really insightful things that you just said. So couples counseling, right? I had plenty of that in my background. So in that moment when he said, you suck the air out of every room you're in, I immediately went to, what if this is my wife and how would I react? Like that flashed in my head.
Yes.
So I didn't get angry.
Yes.
Because that would be bad in any relationship that
Yes.
you're in.
Yes.
So I immediately went to, okay, what are the tools that I have
Yep.
to make this outcome more positive?
Good job.
And yeah, well, thanks.
Well, because that does take training and practice.
It does.
It does. So the fact that yes, it's the same tools, just being used in a different environment with a different person.
Right.
But the tools are what they are.
It's the same skill set for
Yes.
sure. And growing up the way I did, a white male, really privileged, I was always used to getting my way on most everything that I wanted, except for keeping my money when I was selling lemonade on the front yard. And so I've had to learn how to be human. Not learn how to be respectful, but learn how to slow down just a heartbeat
Yep.
so that your first reaction isn't the reaction. You give yourself a moment to think things through. And as I've done that more and more, Now it's immediate. Like my first reaction will always be what it is.
Right.
But the way I respond comes out as my first reaction.
Yes.
So it's really valuable to be surrounded by people you trust, who you listen to, and you try to emulate the way they walk in the world. Again, my current boss is someone who I will always be in touch with, who I will always look for guidance, because he's just so smart. And to be specific, this conversation that we had this past week about, think through being a partner rather than trying to get to your goal is what John did with me. His name is John. Did with me was, okay, well, how do you think that's going to land over there on the other side of the conversation? Do you feel like you're pushing too much? If you did feel like you're pushing too much, what can you do better? Right? So he walked me through a series of, oh, right, we're only here to create a partnership.
Yeah.
But without him, I probably would have been sales guy.
Yeah.
Trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Trying to clinch a deal.
Close the deal. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what a good boss does.
Yeah.
Helps you get there on your own.
So over your years, I want to bring this into like an exit interview type of a last kind of question.
Okay. All right.
So over the years, have you had employees quit?
Yes. Yeah. Sure.
Did you conduct exit interviews with these people? Was that even a thing that was valued? Yeah.
Yeah, nothing formal. So unfortunately, we've had to fire some folks. Lack of performance, culture fit, any number of reasons, right? We have had people depart because there was a better opportunity for them that more matched their lifestyle, their goal in life, their skill set, the amount of money they could make, that all of those sorts of things. We've never done a formal exit interview. What we typically did, and I think almost uniformly, we would take that person to lunch. Right? Here's my 2-week notice, my 2-month notice, whatever. Like, okay, thanks, and I'd like to learn more. Let's go to lunch.
Yeah.
So me and my business partner and the person would go to lunch, and we'd just talk. Talk about where our business is today. What would you honestly do if you could? What are the things that hang you up? What are the things that are awesome? What do you look for in your future? It was important to us that if we were going to hire someone, we valued them as a person enough, not their resume, not their skill set, but the person.
Right.
Enough that we wanted to maintain a relationship as we went forward.
Yeah.
So not a formal exit interview, but we went to lunch.
That feels like an exit interview to me.
It's pretty
Yeah.
non-HRE, casual.
Yeah.
The goal of that lunch was always, we value you as a person, we value you as a skill set, and we want to keep in touch.
Yes.
Did it always work? No. Some people were like, see ya.
Sure.
And others, I'm still in touch today. Now it's on Facebook, and so that's different.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty confident that if I really ran up against something that someone in my past could help me with, I think there are a handful of them that actually would.
Yeah. Can you think of, in any of those conversations, is there anything that stands out to you, or maybe something that you heard more than once that maybe revealed a pattern of the way that things were running or operating or leadership or whatever that any of the employees who were leaving or that you had to let go would bring up?
Actually, two different things, right? So the people that we had to let go, almost uniformly, it was culture fit. Almost uniformly.
Okay, yeah.
Like, because we did enough upfront skill set testing that they could do what they needed to do.
Yes.
Doing it in a way that you're part of a team sometimes was the challenge.
Yes.
So we worked a lot on team building. You're familiar with like Myers-Briggs and some of the other types of testing, DISC.
Yep.
We used DISC a lot.
Yeah.
So that everyone knew what motivated or demotivated the people around them.
Right.
So that was really good. So I would say almost uniformly it was culture fit.
Yes.
We just weren't a good culture fit for what they wanted to do.
Sure.
For those that separated from us, who quit and went somewhere else, I'd say 80% of the time it was salary, like they could go somewhere else and make more money.
Yep.
And as a startup, a struggling startup for many, many years, you could only pay what you could pay.
Sure.
Right.
Right.
Some were life situations where they were married and the husband was on our employees' salary or Medicare, or medical coverage, not Medicare, but medical coverage. And they needed better medical coverage and we couldn't get there. So they had to go somewhere else. Sure. It was almost uniformly financial in some way.
Yeah.
There were a couple of comments. So our old business was a technology company for events, trade shows, big conferences, right?
Okay.
And we, and I still believe this to be true, to develop the stuff in isolation of seeing users use it is a real handicap. So twice a year, we would say, okay, well, here are the events coming up in the next quarter, and we're going to attend. I always attended, my partner always attended, but two of you are also going to come with us to actually see how what we're building is used and the things that don't work well and the things that do work well, so that we can improve our knowledge of how our customers use that. And this was like Vegas or Miami or, I mean, these were really cool places and really great events, right? Thousands and thousands and thousands of people at these events. And a couple of people were like, I didn't like doing that. I didn't like going on site. I just want to sit here and I want to make code. I'm like, okay, that's not who we are. It's not who we are. So, okay, that's going to always be a requirement, is that you see how the customers use it.
Yes.
And there's, they said, yeah, but we do testing, we do that. I'm like, nope, it's not the same as sitting with a user who doesn't get
the human
press
experience,
the red button, not the blue button.
Yes. I love that you just brought that up, because I have a lot of people that will come to me and they are either the techies, the engineers, and they're like, oh my gosh, we need your help, because we don't want to talk, like, we don't want to deal with that crap. We don't want to deal with that drama, all the chatty, like, let us do our thing.
Yeah.
And then the other people are like, oh my gosh, we really need you to come in, because these engineers over here, and it's just so interesting. It's like knowing your people, where they excel, where they don't. But going back to your other point, the position and the culture is, this is an expectation. This is something we're going to be doing. Right. We're going to get you out of your comfort zone a little bit, but you got to be open to it if you're going to be here.
Yep. And in the interviews, we would share that. And no one ever said, oh, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But then the reality happens, and now you're actually going to go with us to a trip to Vegas or wherever. And I think a new reality sort of strikes. And this isn't just software engineers. This is really anyone in your company. They need to understand, especially if you're a customer-facing, like, people use your thing. They need to understand how people use your thing. If you're sales and marketing, if you're tech, if you're whatever, you really need to be there and interact with your customer. And some of our people wanted to go to all of the events. Like, well, no, you kind of.
That would have been me. I'd be like, I'll go to Miami. I'll go to Vegas.
You really have to stay back and do some stuff.
Yeah.
And some people just didn't want to go at all. So most of the time it was financial. A couple of comments related to, I hated going to Las Vegas.
Things. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that's just making me giggle a little bit.
There was never a comment, and maybe it's just because they didn't trust me enough. There was never a comment of, you're a jerk. Guaranteed I was a jerk. 10 years, blood, sweat, and tears, literally your house is on the line.
Yes.
I guarantee I was too aggressive, too pushing, no, we're doing it my way. And that got better over time, just by being more mature. And as we started succeeding, the pressure was less.
Sure.
But also this effective self-reflective way of thinking about, well, who am I showing up as in the lives of the people that I trust the most, the couple dozen people who are literally building my business.
Yes.
So it's an evolution. It's not a snap your fingers and make it done.
Yes.
And at some level, I like that. Like, it's fun to know that you're a little bit better today than you were yesterday.
Agreed. And I actually love that you said that, because I think that's true for so many parts of our life, like that, the evolution piece of it. And I think this might come up even with the people you work with now. I know personally, I mean, as a solopreneur, it's like you start it and you're like, okay, and how do I become a millionaire today? So I only have to work 5 hours a week, you know, and that's just not how it goes.
Yeah.
And like, I know personally, I understood the grind. I knew all the things. Like, I understood very clearly what I was signing up for.
Yeah.
But then when you're living it, that is a whole different, the sleepless nights, the hours and hours of whatever, the grind, is this going to work? Those are the things that you know it's going to happen because everybody's told you. But until you're actually feeling it, you don't know what to expect. But then the evolution of it as well is, somebody just said this to me the other day. I was hanging out with somebody at Radius, and they're like, a year ago today, you were in a completely different place. And I was like, oh my gosh, I totally know.
Yeah. I remember
And you
when
don't know it even when you're in the
You do
evolution
not.
process.
And you got to have people encourage you to remember. Where were you a year ago? What was going on? Because I remember on the Radius Slack channel, you were reaching out saying, this isn't working. I don't get it. I'm not sure what. And all kinds of people dove in and offered suggestions. And you took some, I'm sure.
Yes.
And you've now evolved and grown. And I see great things that you're doing with, like, the Penn State Barron folks. And, you know,
all sorts of fun.
It's just super great. Super great.
And the problems, I think, become more specific. So before, it's kind of like, what the hell
Everything's
am I supposed to be doing? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Why isn't this happening? And now it's like, when this particular thing happens and this particular thing is said, how do I do this exact thing? And, and that's part of the evolution.
It is definitely part of
I think
the
as
evolution and growth.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And that also, I think, goes to, I mean, you were talking about how you spent so much time with team building and really investing in your team on finding out what kinds of styles they had and making sure you're leveraging that to get the best out of your people.
Yeah.
And I know that there are some businesses that I will work with where they really do want you to come in and fix it. And it's like, doesn't really work that way. Like, there's always a place to start, and that's with awareness, and that's with having tools, and then that's the one step, and then the next step, and just practicing and messing up and then trying again. But it is an evolution. Anytime you're learning and trying to adjust behavior.
Everything in life, everything in business, everything interpersonal, everything is crawl, walk, run.
Yep.
Everything.
Yes.
You cannot drink a magic juice or take a magic pill or whatever and fix the issue.
Right.
When my CTO said, you suck the air out of every room you're in. Well, I can fix that. I'll just shut up. No, that's not the answer.
That's not the answer. Right.
Everything is crawl, walk, run. And you've got to have trusted people around you and take the journey and celebrate every small success of you being better today than yesterday. My current boss 6 months ago, maybe a little more, but anyway, within the last year, I was on a roll. Like, I was lots of companies and putting lots of stuff in, and I was really jazzed about, like, the evolution and growth of the entrepreneurial ecosystem economy in Northwest Pennsylvania. Companies in Mercer, companies in Erie, companies in Warren, all over, right? And he said to me, take a step. Everything isn't an emergency. I'm like, what? He says, yeah, everything. I didn't say what. I knew exactly what he meant. But I said, well, what does that mean? Because everything isn't an emergency. You've got teammates who have lives too. So just because you want something on a Friday morning doesn't mean it fits into their schedule. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to work on that. You're going to have to help me with that. And he has been awesome, because I still get, like, I'm an entrepreneur. And I remember all of the times when I wanted something from somebody, I thought they could be helpful to me and my company. I thought they would add value to something. And they were like, yeah, go away, kid, you bother me. And my one promise to myself when I moved to Erie to work with Ben Franklin is I was never going to be that guy. I was always going to be a yes. I'm still always a yes for any conversation with any entrepreneur on any topic.
Yes.
We will always find time to discuss, because you never know when the little thing that you said, which was like a throwaway for you, actually hits exactly where that entrepreneur needs to get hit or, make a difference. So again, it's about having positive feedback and surrounding yourself with people who'll be honest with you, developing those relationships that encourage honesty, but not cruelty. Honesty because you want them to be better.
Yes.
And then on the listener's side, recognizing that they're trying to make you better. They're not trying to tear you down.
Absolutely. I have a story from when I first met you that I want to share. And I've never told you this before.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we met a couple of times, but I was in a cohort at the time, the co-starters, and you came and were a speaker.
Yeah, of course.
And one of your take-home message was, ask for the meeting. And so I walked up to you afterwards and I'm like, I'm asking for the meeting. And you're like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
And at the time I was doing something else and I was starting a private practice, but I wanted
Yes, I remember that.
create an app that would help families navigate the IEP process in special education. And I remember the conversation with you and how frustrated I was afterwards. And you're like, because first of all, you're an entrepreneur. Second of all, you're in tech. I don't know anything about that stuff.
Yeah.
What I do know is that this is very much needed and people would use it. I don't know anything else. And you're like, yeah, I don't get it. And I'm like, well, what don't you get? Okay. So I didn't say that to you, but inside, like my ego was like, ugh. But this is what I learned. Oh, and so then it was about a year later when somebody else created an app that did
Do the same thing.
and they launched it. And I was like,
Dang it.
I knew it was a good idea, but let me tell you the things that I learned
Okay.
from that because it was so important. One, just because somebody gives you advice doesn't necessarily mean it's right.
Right.
So you shouldn't always think you know better. Like, what the heck do I know? But I did know something. Yeah. And just because I was this kind of nothing and you were this person who knew these things and I was like, oh, okay, no. So that was something that taught me to have more confidence in myself.
Okay, good.
And also, though, it helped me look at how I was approaching things differently. I had never thought about the things that you had said before, the way that you were asking me questions and pointing things out. Like, you were poking holes in everything, as you should have. And that made me much better the next time I tried to do something, because I was already thinking about the things that I know you would ask me.
Okay.
And I feel like that made me, it gave me a different mindset. One, I feel like I became more resilient because I like bounced back up again. I wasn't like, this is a bad idea, I'm going to go away now. I was like, no, I'm going to make this happen, right? So like that was a very important moment for me to have.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, I believe that I can do this. But then knowing, as soon as I could come back to you, I did. I wasn't like, oh, I don't want to talk to you, because I trusted that you were going to tell me the truth. And I don't want people who are just cheerleading me and blowing smoke. I don't need that. That's what like your family, oh no, not my family. They are way too. But I needed somebody who was going to say, no, and this is why, or I'm not getting it. Because the other thing is too, is when you're in your own space all the time, you understand it. But you don't understand that other people don't understand it.
Right.
So I can talk about communication and emotional intelligence every day, and I just assume people get it. Right. And they're like, what? Right. And I'm like, oh, you don't, oh. And I have to think of it from a different perspective. So it really opened up so many things for me, and I feel like it prepared me to do what I'm doing now.
Good.
Better.
Good.
Well, so I appreciate it.
That's an interesting way of complimenting our interactions. I appreciate that. So here's what's really important, or what I'm taking from what you're saying. Advice is advice.
Mm-hmm.
Your job as an entrepreneur is to separate signal from noise. So just because I do what I do and have the experiences I have does not mean I know everything about anything.
Right.
But I'm really, really good at asking questions about things I don't understand.
Right.
And I'm also really good at figuring out what things I don't understand. And we do a service for those entrepreneurs that approach us whose ideas we don't understand by asking them the questions, have you really thought this all the way through?
Right.
Because the worst possible thing an entrepreneur can do is get into something that they super believe in, but can't figure out how to build it, how to sell it. Is there a market there?
Right.
They spend all of their savings and leverage their house.
Right.
Like, we never, ever want someone to get into that situation. Unfortunately, there are people that approach us who are already in that situation.
Right.
And so we try to make that not be the reality for people we interact with.
Sure. Well, and the thing is, too, is I think, like, by definition, entrepreneurs are good at what they do, but they're not necessarily good business people. Right?
Right. There's subject matter experts.
Exactly.
Right.
And so that is kind of I think the biggest lesson I learned from that is I'm leading all with heart, but I was not leading with anything that I could really like hang my hat on from a business perspective.
Yeah.
When you're asking these questions, it was like, yeah, I was out of my league. And here's the thing too. Now I know, I didn't know then, how incredibly expensive and time intensive apps are. I never could have done that. Let's be honest. The person who did it did a way better job. And that wasn't the journey I was supposed to go on. I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. And that's exactly what was supposed to happen. And I'm glad that it did.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are some of the lessons that I learned early on. But really what I want to focus on about this is the importance of trust and honesty.
Yep.
Too, right? So like one of my favorite quotes by Brene Brown, and she may have quoted somebody else when she said this, I don't know, but clear is kind, unclear is unkind. And that's the piece that it's like clear is kind. Okay, but people are like, yeah, but I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. It's like, but in your effort to do that, you're actually being unkind. You're doing them a disservice. I feel like you were being clear and kind. And that is the takeaway from that, regardless of my reaction to it.
Right.
Because I worked through that. I'm good.
Good.
But that was what was happening. And that was so powerful. And it was really pivotal in how I approached things.
The data shows that successful entrepreneurial companies, and you define success however you need to, successful entrepreneurial companies it is more likely you will be a successful entrepreneurial company if you have more than one founder. Meaning, someone's the subject matter expert.
Yeah.
Someone's the something else expert. And then you're going to hire for other positions within your organization.
Yes.
Now, in the very beginning, like you're in the very beginning, sometimes it's just you.
Right.
Like, because that's all it can be until you clarify your mission, your vision, your pathway, who you're targeting. Like, there's a lot of things to figure out in the beginning.
Yes.
And then it makes sense to bring on the parts that you don't like, you're not good at, you'd spend way too much time doing. Find that extra person. Doesn't have to be a founder. Could be the first hire.
Yes.
And that's what happened to me in my entrepreneurial career almost uniformly. It's certainly what's going on in our portfolio. We have a number of single founders, people who are sole founders, not single founders. I don't know about their singleness, but the sole founder part of it, who then hire people to fill the gaps in their skill set, and they grow.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's more fun. It's more fun when you're doing something with a team rather than just doing it on your own.
I agree with that.
And that's the value of Radius, is that you have a team, even though everyone's doing their own thing.
Right.
There's always 3 people to talk and throw an idea around.
Yes.
It's the value of Ben Franklin, because I've got these amazing colleagues who have such wide, varied entrepreneurial experience, and they are so brilliant at not only knowing it, but communicating it. Being part of a team is just more fun.
Agreed.
Yeah, more successful.
Yes. Definitely.
So that's kind of my journey.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I have one last question before we go.
All right.
Okay, Brian, what is the song that will get you out on the dance floor?
There's two, actually.
Okay.
So Neil Young's Harvest Moon, which is just such a soulful, like you listen to the words and you listen to what he was really going through. There's definitely something in there for me. And a Shake Your Booty song is almost anything by the Foo Fighters.
Okay.
I will gladly cut a rug. Learning to Fly is probably the one.
Okay.
So, yeah, Neil Young and the Foo Fighters.
All right. I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing all your
this was
stories
great.
and all your wisdom. We have so many golden nuggets that we can take away from today. I really
thanks.
appreciate your time.
I really admire what you're doing at Click Pragmatics. I really enjoy this series of interviews, and just keep doing what you're doing. There's a lot of opportunity for improving communications within a company. Boy, what a rich target market you've got.
Yes.
So good luck with
Thank
all
you. I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
that. You're welcome.
Hi, guys. Today's episode of Click with Casey was sponsored by Donato's. We all know that Donato's pizza is delicious, right? But did you know that you don't have to wait till your Friday night veg sesh and movie night with your family to get it? They also do catering, and it's not just pizza. They have a whole catering menu that you can find on their website. And I will tell you from personal experience, it shows up on time, it's fresh, it's warm if it's supposed to be, cold if it's supposed to be, and it's a crowd pleaser every time. What I love about Donato's is that they are really community focused, and they love to support anything from church bingo nights to Boy Scout events or fundraisers for local elementary schools or whatever the case may be. So they're definitely great. Not only are they delicious, but they always give back to our community. And I don't know about you, but I love to support places like that. So definitely go and grab yourself a slice from Donato's. And if you're about to host an event or you know someone who is, you should definitely consider them for your catering.